What's up, fans of anime? For this video, we're going to be reviewing Vinland Saga Season 1. Now, this anime was extremely popular when it came out. This is probably one of the best animes to be watching when it came out. But with all great animes, there's always pros and cons. So let's get on to the pros, which the first biggest pro is Askeladd. That is the best character and the best part about this entire anime. It pains me to say that.
Singular character.
Because Askeladd, you hate this guy very much for like 75% of the anime until you learn about his backstory and then you realize, okay, what he was doing was basically justified because all that stuff happened to him in the past, so it's only natural that he would hate all the people who did all that stuff to him in the future. Askeladd is the main character. There is no question about that. Forget Thorfinn. I know much more about Askeladd than I do about Thorfinn.
Yes, now Askeladd, he did get the shine in the most of the part of the anime. We come to find out he is half Danish and Welsh, and he hails from the land of the whales.
The whale.
Wallace. Now he's the character that does a lot of teaching in this anime. He teaches Canute and Thorfinn about life situations and also to actually get the job done. Saving certain lives, or if it's cutting the king's head off, which is kind of crazy in itself.
Yeah, I think once he cut King Swen's head off, that's where I'm like, okay, Askeladd's pretty cool now.
Yeah, he just does it.
Because this entire time, I'm just like, he's killing a bunch of innocent people that I'm just like, I really hate that I have to keep seeing this. Like, every episode is that. But then once he cut off the king's head, I'm like, okay, you finally did something that I could actually appreciate now. Because before all that, I didn't like him like as a person. He was a cool character, I just didn't like what he was doing. Moving on to pro number 2, which is I like the way that this anime actually used real life historical things to tell its story. So like, you know, in that 1000 AD, I think that's actually when the Danes declared war on England. This entire anime does revolve around that part of history. Now, I don't know how true to life all these situations were, but I did like the fact that an anime actually uses real history, because most of the time they use the idea of it just to get a starting point and then they kind of just creatively shift everything just to like tell a completely different fictional story. But I think here they try to do justice to history and they just kept it that way. So I really like that idea of it.
Yeah, they do use like key events that happen, you know, whether if it's the king passing, well, I think the king passed away. There was unknown. He didn't just die. And Canute took over. That's real. Call him Canute the Great. And Thorkel is also under his army. Maybe not in the same way that the anime depicted it, but he is listed under his army. So yeah, things like that, those kind of lores and facts about these anime, about, you know, historical stuff, is pretty interesting.
And just as the namesake of the anime, Vinland Saga, I believe that is an actual book, I want to say. But regarding that, Leif Erikson found Vinland, which I believe is supposed to be North America. So I'm like, okay, that does line up with history, because far to the west, you know, like when they met Indians, I'm like, that sounds like America, but I don't know if that's actually correct or not. And then when I want to look it up, I'm like, yeah, that is supposed to be North America. I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. That was cool.
Now, pro number 3 for this anime is the character development. Now, a lot of characters in this anime got a lot of development. Just like, for example, what we said before, Askeladd, he got the most character development. And also, another character that got development, it was Canute. He became one of my favorite characters of the anime. He became a little boy who doesn't want to fight.
Super timid.
And he does not talk at all. Until, you know, his homeboy Ragnar died. And then he got the sudden change of character development, and he became the badass that he is, or he tries to become the badass. He's still a little passive in a sense, because he doesn't want to, you know, actually inflict any conflict or anything like that. But nonetheless, he still got the character development. Now, one person that we haven't talked about before is actually Thorfinn. He got some character development when he was a young child up until an adult, and that's it. Now, pro number 4, and this can be a con for some people, but I actually enjoy this. It's the theme and the teachings, like the meanings they're trying to convey in this anime. Throughout Thor's arc, he's trying to preach, there's no enemies. You have no enemies, my son. And he wants peace. And throughout the whole show, that's kind of like the theme going on. You know, whether it's with Christianity, you know, like forgiving and stuff like that, and praying. And, you know, Thorfinn does not believe that at all. Because that is not the warrior way. But he's not succeeding in his ways. Canute, he was, you know, doted ever since he was a child by Ragnar. So he was like being
the sheltered child.
Yes, so he never got to grow in a sense. And now sometimes for you to grow, that obstacle in your way to get out of your life, it's unfortunately it had to be Ragnar.
Askeladd had to take him out.
And also, at the very end, Thorfinn, throughout the whole show, he couldn't move on until, guess who? Askeladd died. And now he's potentially able to move on. So just stuff like that was really cool to like understand and like and see like, oh damn, all these characters, they're getting taught throughout the whole show, like life lessons and stuff like that.
So that's it for all the pros, and let's get on to the cons. And I have a lot of problems with this anime. So let's just start off with the first major problem, which in my opinion is Thorfinn. He is supposed to be the main character, but I felt like for the vast majority of the anime, he was no longer the main character. character. Askeladd became the main character. Around episode like 13-ish, when the actual invasion of England had started and Thorfinn became a teen, Thorfinn became an assassin. That's essentially who he became. He stopped getting character development from that point forward, and Askeladd took the main stage along with Canute. And so it made me beg the question, why is Thorfinn still here? All I ever see him do is go in, murder somebody, and then come out. And that's it. Yes, he gets character development at the end, but I had to literally wait like 10 more episodes for like one episode of character development after Askeladd dies, mind you. And then that was it. So yeah, for Thorfinn, I hated him as a main character and just as a character as well.
I don't know who said Thorfinn was the main character. We got to see his backstory when he's a young child, yes. But I feel like it was Thor's and then Askeladd. Because Thor's passed the torch when he died to Askeladd. Askeladd carried on Thor's will, which is, I don't know if they had an agreement of not to kill people, right?
I mean,
he had to honor
it was an agreement, but Askeladd didn't have to honor it. He just did it because of the graciousness of his own will.
But he did.
But he did, yeah.
So that's why Thorfinn never died. So it became Askeladd as a main character. He was hidden as a main character. We had believed as audience to believe that Thorfinn is the main character. But the only thing that said Thorfinn was the main character was the summary of the synopsis of the show.
But regardless, I hated Thorfinn, okay? Thorfinn as a character was disappointing. Somebody else that I was disappointed in was Canute. Like, I liked the idea of him like becoming this badass after all that crap happened to him. I just didn't like the way that he immediately flipped the switch and been like, I'm super timid, and then it wasn't even Ragnar dying that changed him. It was the freaking priest forcing his beliefs on him. It was like, no, that's not love, that's discrimination. I'm just like, what the hell are these goddamn hot takes that he's giving you? And why is Canute taking all this in stride? And then he immediately just flips the switch, and then he's such a freaking badass at this point. And I'm like, okay, I've watched enough shitty power fantasies to know that this is not a good thing that happened. I can only assume that in the manga he's like done a lot better, because this was really uncanny for an anime like this, for such an important character to immediately like change his persona instantly. So I liked that he became this character. I just didn't like the way that they did it. So let's get on to con number 2, and for me it's the story, or I guess I should say the mishmash of stories that are being told here. One is Thorfinn's story, the other one is the invasion on England, and then the third thing is Askeladd's work essentially. And I was trying to piece together what story is this anime trying to lean on the most, because I thought that this was all about Thorfinn's revenge arc, but then that ended halfway through, and then they started focusing more on the war arc, and then they started focusing on Askeladd. I'm like, okay, if that's the way they want to do it, that's fine. The only issue was I didn't know who to put all my chips on, basically. I'm like, should I focus more on Thorfinn, or should I focus more on Askeladd, should I focus more on the war? Because my attention was kind of split in 3 directions. Once I framed the anime in the sense that Askeladd is the main character, I started to enjoy it more, because I'm okay, Askeladd is teaching Thor, Askeladd is leading this war essentially at this point, and he becomes the retainer of Canute. So I only came to that after like halfway through the anime, so I felt really like discombobulated. I can't really think of another word to say. I was just really confused all the way through.
So you're saying more of not the story in a sense, more of the direction.
Yeah, like I don't know what it was trying to tell me. Like,
well, to me, I never feel like it was the story that was the carrying the anime. I feel like the whole point of this anime was just the teachings, just the theme and the moral lessons that they learn along the way. That's the whole thing I got of it. Their trials and tribulations, you know, whether if it's Thorfinn's inability to like carry on his revenge, or Askeladd and his ability to like carry on what he wants to do.
Now saying that, let's get on to con number 3, which is the pacing. They talk a lot about the ideals of this anime, which is fine. I think those were great. I just hated the fact that every like episode there was like a 5-minute blurb of them reiterating that entire thing without adding in something new. So Christianity is a big thing about this anime. I see that Canute is praying to the Lord for, protection and safety. But then the very next episode, he's doing it again, but they don't add anything new. It's just him doing the same thing again. And I'm wondering, why are they showing me this again? Canute does lose faith in the Lord, when he do this big change, but never at any point does he question like what the heck is going on here. So I thought that that's what they would have done, but they didn't do that. And something else that I didn't like was every episode, like they kind of raid a village, like every single episode. I felt like for the first couple of episodes, it was fine just because that was progressing Thorfinn's character, because he was conflicted about invading the towns. And then he just said, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And every time they invade each other village, I'm just like, okay, I don't understand why they have to keep showing this to me. What does this add to the story other than the fact that these guys are just pillaging everybody?
For me anyways, I didn't mind every episode's pillaging, because that's just how it is. It's to show that these are Danes, or what are they, Vikings too?
Vikings.
And that's how normal life was back then. So they're trying to implant it in our head, this is how it is. And this is to build Askeladd's character as a villain, because we're not supposed to like this character.
He was already a villain when he killed Thor. Like, I didn't need any more than that.
Yes, the way this anime is trying to do is trying to make us as an audience not like this guy, obviously, Askeladd. I'm talking about Askeladd. By the end of the anime, we're conflicted because now he's trying to redeem himself. He had a little redemption arc. There is little pacing issues, like you said, you know, with the repeated stuff, whether it's the religious things or the pillaging thing, if you don't like that part, or even like the slow, steady build up of certain episodes, like maybe when that one girl in that village got pillaged and then they showed like her backstory for some reason. They could have just got any random character who just escaped, who's a follower of Christianity, and they want to go tell on him. Like, they could have just done that. But yes, little stuff like that. It does have pacing issues. Also, in the beginning, the backstory, I was wondering where they're gonna go with it. I would say I didn't start getting into this maybe until episode 3 or 4 when Thor's took him to the to go fight Askeladd.
I started liking it when after Thor's died, Thorfinn started training. I'm like, okay, we're getting into a training arc. Thorfinn is learning how to become a guy now, like a man. So he has to like learn how to fight. I'm like, okay, this I liked a lot. And then like once they started invading England, I'm like, okay, I started to lose a little bit of steam because again, it became less about Thorfinn and more about Askeladd. And then again, Askeladd became main character, so I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough, I guess. And the fourth and final con is the ending. Oh my god, this ending. It was cool. It panned out the way that I thought it was gonna pan out, but the way that they just cut it, Thorfinn is in distress, Askeladd dies, they show a plethora of like future characters, like they're gonna show them. Like, I thought at the very least Thorfinn would like do the anime thing where he runs away and because he's so conflicted, but no, he's just getting dragged away. That's it. So I'm like, what the heck, man?
The only thing that got ended and that finally resolved was Askeladd's story.
Yeah, again, this story technically starts with Askeladd killing Thor's and ends with Askeladd's death, so that much is fine, but like Thorfinn is still here, so they don't even show that he runs away. Like Leif Erikson is still waiting for him, but he just completely ignores him. Doesn't do any of that. Like, at the very least, build that up. But for some reason, they show off, I assume, future characters in the next season, like the guy who's on a boat or whatever. I'm like, why are you showing me these characters that I have no attachments to? Like, I know you're teasing like a season 2 type thing, but I don't care about these characters. Thorfinn is in distress. What is he doing? Like, that's the big thing. Like, Canute already had the resolve to continue forward, so I wasn't too concerned about him. But Thorfinn, man, what the hell?
To be fair, they did present the ending as the end of the prologue. Alright, as per usual, we are gonna rate Vinland Saga Season 1 on our tier list. If you don't know, we do a tier list for every review that we do. The more left it is, the better it is on our tier list. If you hate it, let us know. I'm pretty sure you're wondering why we have some of these animes listed here, but oh well. So where should we rate Vinland Saga Season 1?
After all that I said, where do you think that I would put it?
C, you might like it.
-1, and then that's where I would put it.
Skip?
I did not like this anime at all. I think the best part about this anime was Askeladd, and unfortunately, Askeladd is a character that you're supposed to feel mixed on. And for a serious anime like this, the story has to move you like that. But for me, it did not move me at all. And unfortunately, like, the things above it, I at the very least had some bit of fun watching it because that's the way it was portrayed. It didn't need to be serious, but because Vinland Saga is super serious, the story needed to be compelling enough for me to want to be like, this was a great story. But I didn't really think that, honestly.
So we can obviously tell my co-host right here, Jay, he does not like this anime.
I did not like this anime.
You can tell by the whole video of the review, he is hated. Now me,
so
on the flip side, I'm gonna rate it. I'm torn between A- or B. But obviously, since there's two of us, we gotta average it out. This is why some of these animes are where they are, because we had to average it out a lot of the times. Now, I'm gonna put it right there, A-.
Oh jeez. Okay.
Right behind Oshinoko. It does have a little pacing issues. I do like the storytelling and the theme they're trying to present. I do like that. Obviously, the part I don't like is Askeladd, because I don't like him. I like him as a character, but I don't like him as the guy I'm trying to root for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which
is what
makes him great.
He's a good character that's written, but it's just I don't like him as a character. It's very conflicting. So I will put it right there, A-. Now, if he puts it right here and I put it right here, we gotta average it out to maybe like a B or a C. So where would you want to put it?
I'll just let you decide that, honestly. Because
I'll put it right here, right above Zom 100 then.
What I would say was, what's the lowest you will go and put it there?
B's the lowest I'll go.
Then just leave it like as far as like, you know, to the more left or right. That's
so do you agree right here?
I don't really mind. I mean, where you put it, I wouldn't care. To me, it's just I did not like this anime. So for you, someone who actually did like this anime, that's what matters the most to me.
Yeah, I enjoy the journey. I cannot put it above Ninja Convoy, and I don't know.
Yeah, see, I love Ninja Convoy.
I don't know any sane person that would put it above Ninja Convoy.
You're looking at an insane person right here.
There it is. We put it a B, worth a watch.
Now that's our review for Vinland Saga Season 1, and there is a Season 2 that we will review in the near future, and I personally hope that the story is more compelling than this one, or at the very least, Thorfinn is the main character in this new anime. Well, let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. Obviously, I didn't like this anime, so please tell me, what makes this anime so great? Because I just could not see it. I hated watching a lot of this anime. But until next time, thank y'all for watching.